Welcome back to Street Smart. Shares of Merck are down 2% today after the company said it is firing 14% of its workforce as it tries to trim more than $4 billion in annual costs. Bloomberg Shannon Pettypiece covers the company for us, and she joins us now with more. This sounds like big cuts here, Shannon.
Yeah, we just heard Mike talking about the economy and how it basically stalled in the first half. Well, don't look to drug makers to get that growth going. 13,000 announced today, but the company was already planning 17,000 job cuts before this. So between 2010 and the end of 2015, Merck will have cut 30,000 jobs. That's how big a numbers we're talking about. But the company says we're not necessarily going to shrink that much because we're adding jobs. Well, where are you adding them? Oh, emerging markets, China, Brazil, Russia.
The story we keep hearing over and over again.
Exactly. A whole emphasizing this shift in the industry. They have 3,500 sales reps in China. They've cut about a third of their reps in the U.S. So this shows how the whole industry is transitioning here. And Merck's CEO, Ken Frazier, he said, it's my responsibility to make sure I'm making the right investment to drive growth long term. I've got to allow my company to be adaptive. That's how he defended these big cuts he's making today.
It certainly sounds like he is being adaptive. Hey, we want to get more on this, and let's bring in right now someone who covers Merck very closely. She is Barbara Ryan. She's an analyst at Deutsche Bank, and based on data compiled by Bloomberg, she is one of the most accurate forecasters of Merck stock. We call her a Bloomberg best. Barbara, good to have you back here.
Thanks, Carol.
These are huge cuts. Shannon just laying it down for us. 30,000 in about the last year or so. That's a lot. That sounds significant. Do we need to be worried about the story over at Merck?
No, I mean, I think, as a shareholder or investor, I think it's encouraging. I think the reality is that the pharma business is tough. Lots of businesses are tough. All industries are being forced to become more efficient, improve their returns, and certainly Merck and the drug industry, that's not new to them. And there has been a long iterative process of restructuring within the industry. Now, let's not forget as well that Merck bought Schering-Plough, Pfizer bought Wyeth, and those two combinations created a lot of redundancy, and some of this is about taking excess capacity out of an industry that has seen its returns shrink and the productivity of its R&D dollar decline.
Is this, Barbara, though, is this largely also about moving jobs into lower cost labor regions? I mean, Merck says it's going to add workers, as Shannon just mentioned, in emerging markets. So is this about sort of moving your labor force over to somewhere cheaper?
I really wouldn't look at it that way. I think what it is it's evolving to where the demand is growing most rapidly, and clearly that is in emerging markets. As individuals in these markets become more knowledgeable about their own health care, as they have discretionary money in their pockets to spend, they are choosing to improve their quality of life. And so there's enormous demand and growth in high population emerging markets like India and China. And the investments that Merck and the rest of the pharma industry are making are aimed at taking advantage of those opportunities.
Hey, Barbara, I want to step back and look at Merck's stock price. Since 2008, it's lost almost half of its value. It took a real beating 2008, 2009. The whole time you've been saying buy this stock. Why are you confident that we're going to see this stock start to increase finally? What's going to be the driver?
Well, that's a good point, and I think Merck had some specific issues that obviously punished them during that period of time. Most notably, the controversial data that came out on Zetia and Vytorin, which was unexpected, and it was a classic case of
Any text on that?
Chasing, a falling knife. I mean, the stock falls so much in one day, you think it's done already, and then it continues to bleed over time. I think at this juncture, our DCF valuations suggest that the stock is truly undervalued, that the market is basically saying that Merck is going to continue to destroy value into the future, that it will never, ever have $1 of new drug sales, and that it will do nothing to change its cost structure in the face of top-line challenges. And I think number one, they are doing many things. Their cash flows are strong. They are leveraging the bottom line. They grew their revenue 7% in the quarter, and their earnings nearly 11.
Barbara, help me out here, though, because, we've been really kicking this one around the newsroom today, and you have, the stock, going back to, 99, you've either had a market perform or a buy on it. I mean, the stock is down about 53% in that time frame. So over the long term, the stock has not really paid off. Yes, there may have been ups and downs at certain points if you bought in at the right place. But longer term, this stock has not really performed. I guess, are you telling me that there's something new, something exciting finally about this story?
I think what's happened is the industry, the pharmaceutical industry and Merck have gone through a massive blow. And that has been characterized by enormous levels of generic competition for the industry's leading drugs. In the case of Merck, they specifically, too, had a $4 billion franchise that got cut in half. That hurt. And then additionally, Merck and other companies have had a lot of late-stage failures in their pipeline, and that's the nature of the beast. The valuations, though, at some point, the valuations reach a point at which stocks become attractive. No stock is unattractive forever at any price.
Okay.
You know, it's like real estate, but
yeah.
You know, maybe we have further to bleed, and certainly I don't have a ton of credibility in telling people to buy the stock, but I do think it's undervalued.
It's certainly an interesting story. Hey, Barbara, we got to run. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Have a good weekend. Barbara Ryan over at Deutsche Bank.